Bradley, the playmaker for the Bulldogs. On the right, 6'4" Valdez Valters. He's 25 years old.
And rifle-like shooters.
Bernard Thompson, the junior, the man who's supposed to score for Fresno State this year. And on the right, Sergei Jovacki, 6'4", 28 years old.
Two early going. We're just a couple of minutes into the action.
The reason we're a little late getting here, they didn't have the national anthems tonight. Russia has used their superior height to score 2 baskets. Bernard Thompson scoring for Fresno State. It's 4-2.
This is Ronnie Anderson, the newest of the Bulldogs, the guy they're hoping is going to fill the shoes of Rod Higgins this season. Higgins now in the Chicago Bulls. Mitch Arnold starting at a guard position in the backcourt. Tyrone Bradley opposite him will be the playmaker. Up front, you've got Desi Barmore, Ronnie Anderson, and Bernard Thompson for the Bulldogs. We'll set the Soviet lineup when we come down to their end of the floor. This is Desi Barmore.
30-second shot clock all over the floor tonight. Barmore.
Bernard Thompson keeps it alive, sitting out. Mitch Arnold in the lane, dishes it off for Anderson. They play a little bit of soccer, and it's going to go to the Soviet Union.
One official has it going to Fresno State.
Tyrone Bradley scrambling for the ball. In international rules, if it's in the backcourt, the player can put it in without having to have the official check it. Tyrone a little over anxious to test that rule. That was in the forecourt, so nothing doing.
There's about 8 major changes for basketball fans, international rules and NC2A rules, and we'll try and catch up on those as we go along.
You can address those, Pat. The names are confusing enough on this end. This is Barmore way out high. Bernard Thompson takes the baseline route, pushes his man off, hooks it up, doesn't go. Tipped up, kept alive by Anderson, right into the hands of Bernard Thompson. Barmore puts up a jumper. It's short. Thompson inside. Knocked away.
Knocked out of Thompson's hands. And Russia controls.
Now, we were given some number changes. The Soviet Union has changed their numbers every game thus far. And the number changes that I was given, obviously, are not accurate here. In the lane, Jovacka hits a pair. Correction, that was Valdez Valters.
And we'll get used to them. They love to shoot. They're not going to take very much time. It's a completely different game offensively. Russia will come down and try and shoot in the 6 or 8 seconds, use their height to control the board. Fresno State will play a little more tempo within the 30 seconds.
Bernard Thompson, Mitch Arnold, Biryukov on Mitch Arnold. Ronnie Anderson spins, dumps it off to Barmore. He's wide open, puts it up, but gets the rat-a-tat of the guard and it's called for 2.
Okay, Desi gets his first. That's about the 4th time he's shot so far in the game, so he might get a little confident now.
In the middle it goes. Driving the lane, traveling violation. That was Biryukov. Nikolai Biryukov, 23 years old. He's kind of the enforcer, not a guy they look to shoot. Thompson drives and muscles his way over Biryukov for a pair. And we're tied at 6 apiece. 3.5 minutes into the ball game.
And that's where you see getting the ball in the backcourt. Tyrone very quickly to get it up court to Thompson, who used his superior speed.
Biryukov inside, doesn't go. Whistle and a foul is called on Bernard Thompson. First foul called tonight.
This is the real concern of the Fresno State coaching staff on defense because of the superior muscle and height. Now here we go. He's got position. Bernard trying to get him, but he doesn't have position. And they love to go to the boards. Very physical team.
Okay, let's set the Soviets lineup first. Valdez Valters is the point guard. He's wearing number 10 for the Soviets at the free throw line. This is number 6, Victor Bereznoi.
And in the international rules, they do have 3 shots to make 2 on a shooting foul, and that's what this is. But he makes both of the first 2, so no penalty shot. 8-6 Russia, 4 minutes into the game.
Bradley walks it into forecourt. This is Bernard Thompson, Tyrone Bradley. Very young and inexperienced Bulldog team on the floor. Tyrone in traffic, takes the baseline route, puts it up, pinned against the backboard by number 14, Alexander Volostany, the 7'2" center for the Soviet Union.
Still giving away a couple of feet there.
This is Volostany pulling up over Thompson, and he hits it there.
And you can see they can shoot from the outside as well as go in. And on the floor, you'll notice the white lane. That's the expanded international lane. It's about 3.5 feet wider underneath the basket. But there is a 3-second violation inside the lane.
Tyrone Bradley. Inside, there's Barmore. Ronnie Anderson from the baseline. His first shot as the Bulldog goes down. Boyd Grant a little pleased that his star recruit getting off on the right foot with a pair. This is Valters. Inside of Velocity. Puts it down, and as big men do, he has trouble when he puts it on the floor. The Bulldogs take it away. Thompson on the drive. Pulls up. Double pump. Up, kiss off the glass.
And although he goes on the floor, he still gets it up on the jumper. Fresno 10-10.
Valters to the baseline. Pull-up jumper over Bradley. No go. Batted around. Velocity shuffles his feet. Foul is called. The basket goes.
At 7-2, he still can move very well underneath the basket.
Alexander Velocity, 7'2", 240. He's 23 years old.
All right, watch him go. He gets position on Desi first. Mitch is trying to get it. Velocity gets the ball, and he goes up, and he makes it. Now, he only has one shot. There's no penalty shot here.
3-point play by number 14, Alexander Velocity.
Soviets up by 3. Fresno trying their normal San Francisco offense. A lot of shuffling, passing over.
Ronnie Anderson, far side. One of the new faces you will be seeing tonight. The Bulldogs with several newcomers on the team. Barmore. Mitch Arnold. Bernard Thompson.
5 seconds on the shot clock.
Bernard in traffic. There's Mitch Arnold for the jumper. No good. Tipped around. Arnold comes up with the ball. On the baseline, Ronnie Anderson. Ronnie came in from being out of bounds together in that pass. That's a no-no. Long pass down court. Going into the stands. Bulldog ball the other way.
The Soviets love to use the long pass, both in the fast break. Anytime they can use it, you see here you have to take the ball out along the sidelines. Even the ball went out of bounds underneath the basket, you take it out on the sidelines, international rules.
Shot is blocked. No goaltending call. They had a whistle before the ball went up.
On the arm, Anderson being fouled. The Soviets' first foul. Now he'll have 3 to make 2.
Victor Berezhnoi draws his first personal foul. Ronnie Anderson at the free throw line. Omel Nieves will be coming in next opportunity. First one's up and a little bit too hard.
Notice the heavy bandage on Ron's left leg. He's been having a few problems, and on Monday they're going to take a look at that leg and see just how serious it is. Hopefully, of course, it isn't serious. Ron forgetting he has 3 to make 2. He gets an out penalty shot. Notice how quickly they can get into the lane. International rules, as soon as that ball is released from the hand, it does not have to touch the rim. You can charge on in there.
Ronnie Anderson from Chicago, Illinois, did not play high school basketball. He really wasn't that interested in playing basketball in high school. And got out to Santa Barbara City College under Frank Carvajal and has blossomed into a great player. A new backcourt for the Bulldogs as Arnold and Bradley go out. Omel Nieves and Cleve Lewis, the transfer from College of the Sequoias, a 6'7" guard, the biggest that the Bulldogs have ever had, is in the backcourt. And the Soviet coach now down hollering at the Bulldogs timer.
And what he's talking about a substitution rule. There are certain things on a substitution rule you can and can't do. Only the team who has possession of the ball for a throw-in may substitute. Fresno State substituted on the Soviets throw-in.
Side out. Thank you.
That is now being explained.
Of course, we don't play very many international games in the Bulldog schedule. So the officials, by the way, from the Pac-10, but they do have international experience. Now that's what the Bulldogs are not going to be allowed to, or can't do if they get the pass into the big man in the lane. He is just too big to control in there, and he's going to have the easy shots.
I've got Velocity now with 11 points thus far out of the Soviets' 15.
15 to 12. Rush up.
Desi Barmore out to Omel Nieves, Bernard Thompson. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Bulldogs are going to have to contend with that once the PT2A season gets underway. Bernard Thompson inside Barmore, turnaround, has it blocked. Follow-up, and it goes, and a foul is called.
What you have to be impressed with so far with Ronnie Anderson is how well he works around the offensive board. Now he goes and gets a tip. He's also tipped 2 balls out, and you can do that in international rules. You can go up once the ball touches the rim. You don't have any goaltending calls. Now watch what excellent job he does in getting control of the ball. Barmore's shot is blocked. Here comes Anderson around and goes up and tips and is fouled.
And he sinks the free throws. 7 points for Ronnie Anderson in the first half, and it's tied at 15 apiece. Valdez Valters brings it in across the timeline, guarded closely by Omel Nieves. The Soviets not used to playing against the pressure defense the Bulldogs can throw at you. Valters, Berezhnoi, loses it in traffic, gets it out to Ryukov. They try for the big man. Desi Barmore tips it away. He's on the line out of bounds, and the Soviet Union controls.
So this is the first time down the court that Fresno's done a good job of pressuring the wings. That's the players on the side of the court who get the ball, and if they can pressure them, get their hands up, they can't lob it into the big man.
Driving away, underhanded shot goes, despite Thompson being knocked to the floor. Right at the basket, the number 6 for the Soviets, Nikolai Deryugin.
But he did go by about 3 Bulldogs before Bernard got in position, and the Fresno State defense, they don't like that sort of thing. You got to cut off the middle.
Nieves penetrates, kicked away out of bounds, and Bulldog ball.
Homel forcing that pass, trying to get it to Thompson.
Cleve Lewis inbounds. Lewis had been penciled in as a starter earlier in the week, and the coaching staff electing to go with Mitch Arnold. A little bit of experience over Cleve Lewis, but you can bet on seeing Cleve in the lineup as time goes by during the course of the year. Homel Nieves, down low baseline, Thompson dishes it off for Anderson.
Bernard playing very alertly, showing the veteran that he is. He's been shooting well, passing well, good defense. Walters with the ball.
Walters, Deryugin. In the middle for the big guy, Belostany over Desi Barmore off the glass for a pair.
They have to deny that pass. If they get that pass in there, he's going to be able to do that all night. And once he gets the confidence, and he's already done that about 3 times tonight, we see Dave Mosbar going to check in now, hopefully to clog up the middle a little bit.
And you know, you can't get Belostany tired because they've got another 7'2" center on the bench. And he is an excellent ball player as well. They left their 7'5" center, one of the better players in the world, at home. Thompson going up, off the side of the backboard, out of bounds.
I think what they're calling it, the Soviets touched the ball as he shot it, and that forced it into the backboard, so it's Fresno's ball out. But you saw there, Bernard did have the open shot. They're playing a zone on defense, but Fresno has gotten shots. It's not a problem offensively.
Mosbar checks in. Desi Barmore going to take a breather coming in for the Soviet Union. This will be number 15, Valdemaras Komiakis.
We don't have weights on the Soviet players. But Belesnio is, of course, a lot heavier than Mosbar, but we'll see how Dave does now with that 6'11" height.
Inside it goes to Mosbar. Little turnaround jumper. Good.
Well, you have to be impressed. Anderson hits his first shot as a collegiate, and now Mosbar in his first Bulldog uniform. Of course, he played a little bit at Arizona for a couple of years.
And look inside. Mosbar has it clogged up. Ronnie Anderson with a steal. A 3-on-2 break. Thompson saves it.
Excellent quickness by Fresno State, up 21-19, the first lead of the night.
Walter's shot doesn't go. Taken away. Cleve Lewis with a rebound. He looks up court and he's going to bring it up under tempo.
All right, the Soviet coach now has come down to tell that he wants a timeout. The coaches have to tell the scorer when they want a timeout. That's not called by anybody on the court. It's called by the coaches.
Blocked out of bounds by the Soviets, Victor Berezhnoy. And Alexander Gabelski of the Soviet Union calls a timeout. His team down by 2. Our score 10:41 left. It's Fresno State 21, the Soviet Union 19.
Don't worry about the score. Go.
All right, what Coach Grant is telling them in the time, he says, what you're learning out there is what tempo can do. They've been getting good shots. Now they've taken a couple occasions where they were able to move it. Once Tyrone getting the quick pass on the sidelines after a violation, he got it down to Bernard. They used their quickness. We saw on the fast break how they could use their quickness. But once they have the ball under control, the Soviets are playing a lazy zone. If they'll work the ball, they're going to get good shots. 21-19, Fresno leads with 10:41 left in the first half. Same lineup in there. I noticed when Bernard came out, he was during the timeout there, he was looking very tired because he has really put in an impressive 9.5 minutes.
Thompson with the ball. Ronnie Anderson. Mosbar faces the big man. Dishes it off for Ronnie Anderson. Nieves.
Soviets in a man-to-man right now.
Lewis into the lane. Dishes it off for Thompson. He puts it up. Mosbar knocks it home, but no go.
Now, that would have counted if there had been the foul beforehand. Watch, that was a great pass by Lewis on that time, getting it into Bernard. A real soft pass, the weave through the Soviets.
Foul against Viktor Fresno, the Soviet Union, his second personal foul. Let's point out again, Pat, you mentioned it earlier, but for those that did not catch that, you can go over the cylinder and tip balls in or knock them away in international rules.
Knock them in or knock them down, depending on which backboard you're working off of. And again, we're in that penalty situation. It's an international rules. You have 3 shots to make 2 on a shooting foul. The other interesting thing on a shooting foul, the captain can call for the ball out of bounds if you'd rather have the ball out of bounds than taking the shot, which might be important late in the game.
23-19, Bulldogs up by 4. Aldous Valter for the basketball. Over on the far side for Fresno. Bulldogs in that man-to-man, clogging up the middle with the 7-footer foul. Ronnie Anderson on the break. Little hesitation, you go.
Well, that's why they like Ronnie Anderson. 24 years old. He's only been playing basketball for a couple of years, but boy, they have the moves of a veteran. And he also intercepted the pass at the other end. Another quick hands.
Talking to Fred Litzenberger last weekend at the football game, and Fred said that they felt that Ronnie Anderson possessed more natural talent than Rod Higgins does. He has just not been playing basketball as long as Rod, and they really didn't know whether that natural talent would ever come out. They hope that it does down the road. Fresno from the side, and it's 25-21.
They do have good shooters, and like we said before, they'll like to come down and shoot quickly. They want to move the ball. Now, what Fresno has done very, very well is stop the fast break. They have not had a fast break opportunity yet.
And the Soviet Union loves to run. Sergei Javachka set to come in for the Soviet Union. He is their outstanding shooting forward. Surprisingly, did not start tonight.
I understand the Soviet coach will play all his players. He'll bring in 5 at a time sometimes.
Just what I wanted to hear. That's like playing Scrabble with someone who cheats.
Right. A forced pass there by Cleve Lewis making the turnover. Now they got to get pressure on the wings. Right there, you see Anderson with his hands up. They don't want to be able to lob into the big man.
Kamika's straight slide.
They're trying to front him. They're trying to front the big man in the middle.
This is Fresno. Dishes it off inside. Foul called on Nieves.
Ball will be on the outside.
Nikolai Duryugin coming up with a sore thigh muscle.
I watch him go down the lane. They love to go down the lane. O'Mel is out of position there to intercept the ball. Duryugin hurting his leg. He's going to go out.
Against the Bulldogs, number 40, Desi Barmore.
And here's your scorer. Javachka now in the game, number 11. He'll be taking the ball out of bounds.
Sergei Javachka, 18 years old. Jumper far side is good by Kamika's.
Fresno still up by 2, 25-23.
O'Mel Nieves with the ball.
Look how far they're playing off Anderson. He's going to take a couple dribbles and shoot that one.
Ronnie Anderson, the California Junior College Player of the Year last season. The Bulldogs got a real find in him.
He's really working on that gum, isn't he?
Mosbar, Anderson. 11 points for Ronnie Anderson. Bulldogs sitting up by 4, 27-23.
You saw he made a bad pass, but he went to the ball when it came back, and he got his shot.
Aldous Valters in traffic, drops it for 2.
They know they'll cut right across the lane, just like Valters did that time. Cut straight down the lane. He might have looked like he was shooting out of control. Valters we're talking about, but they practice those kinds of shots. The leaping Linas.
Desi Barmore, free throw line to Mosbar. Out it comes all the way for O'Mel Nieves.
7 seconds. 7 seconds in the shot clock.
Down to 5 seconds. Cleve Lewis looking to operate. Puts it up. Short, tipped up, kept alive. Through the legs of Ronnie Anderson. And out of bounds.
Mosbar doing a good job in there, tipping the ball up.
Bulldogs set to bring in their starting backcourt back into action. Mitch Arnold and Tyrone Bradley. Tipped up, knocked away, and out of bounds it goes. Bulldog basketball.
The reason they couldn't go on the break that time was because they had the ball out of bounds. They could bring in substitutes.
Arnold and Bradley back in. Evans and Cleve Lewis leaving.
Did you see anybody on the Fresno State bench jumping up to try and save the 7-2 Giant coming down on top of the bench? I didn't see
it. It's like jumping in front of a falling tree.
But watch him there. He doesn't move very much. He just spreads his arms out. Kind of reminds you of how Patrick Ewing can spread out in the middle.
Boy, that's for sure. Fred Litzenberger scouted this team in the game against Pepperdine the other night.
The crowd looking for a foul there.
The book on Belostany, the big guy in the middle, very, very, very slow. But with a nice hook shot offensively. Bradley's long bomb, no good. Anderson with the fake, but he loses control. And here comes the Soviet Union. Komikas on the break. Back to Valdez Valters to Komikas. Knocked out of bounds by an alert Mitch Arnold.
Good hustle by Arnold. He had to catch up, but he went right, and that's what they play. That first man down has to go to the ball, and the man trailing tries to get back in the middle, and that worked that time.
And as we mentioned, you tie around one 7-footer, and off the bench comes another one. Arvydas Sabonis, an 18-year-old, 7'2", 230-pounder. Very, very agile is the book on him.
Not with as much experience.
In traffic, they dish it off. They get both 7-footers in there. Mosbar knocks it away, pinned against the glass. Sabonis, no go. Whistle and a foul on Mitch Arnold.
Mitch finds it hard to believe since he was underneath all that humanity, feeling they were going over the top on him. Let's take a look and see if we can see it. All right, now watch where Mitch Arnold is.
That's his first, the 15th foul.
Hard to say there. Looks like everybody's going for the ball.
So Boyd Grant brings in Dave Mosbar, which counters the effectiveness of the 7-foot center for the Soviet Union, Belostany. And Alexander Gamelski on the Soviet bench brings in another 7-footer to get a little bit more size in there, and number 18, Arvydas Sabonis.
All tied up, 27-27.
They have 3 or 4 players on this Soviet Union team that they are not priming for the '84 Olympics, but for the '88 Olympics. That being Valdez Valters, who's only 18 years old, and number 18, Arvydas Sabonis.
Now we're back in the zone.
Thompson in the corner. Arnold, free throw line. There's Mosbar. Turnaround. No go. Tipped up. Mitch Arnold in the scramble for the ball. And the Soviet Union comes down with it. This is Valdez Valters, the man who makes them go. On the baseline, putting up a shot that was Jovachka. And an offensive foul is called against the Soviet Union. Actually, not an offense. Yes, an offensive foul.
But it was not with the man with the ball. Bernard taking the charge.
Valdez Valters, the guilty party. That's his first.
Here's Bernard on your right there. There, he passed off. He took the charge. Turnover, Fresno State. All tied with 6 minutes left, 27-27.
And I think a lot of people tonight maybe had it in the back of their mind, and I don't know if they followed it or not, but a lot of controversy surrounding the implementation of the 30-second clock. Would it hurt the Bulldogs? And thus far tonight, no problem at all.
And there's one major change between what we're seeing in this 30-second clock and what we'll see in the PC2A conference action. That is the 30 seconds here as Barmore from way out hit, 29-27. The difference between the 30-second clock starts at if you bring the ball in. In the PC2A, it'll be when you come across half court.
So I think that has to put a few fears to bed right there. Turn around, little jump hook, 18. Arvydas Sabonis, his first 2 of the night.
Nice touch from right in the middle there. But again, Fresno State knows they're in trouble if the big men get the ball inside. They have to deny the ball inside.
Barmore. Bernard Thompson, correction. Inside, and Ezzy Barmore trying to do something. And he gets it off to Mosbar, whose shot is short. Battling inside is Bernard Thompson. Out of bounds it goes. Off the Bulldogs. Turnover to the Soviet Union.
Dave Mosbar had a good shot from around the free throw line there. One that he'll hit most of the time. A little short on it, maybe a little bit tentative.
Long range jumper. No good. Tipped around.
Sabonis going way over Bernard on that with a 7'2" height.
Valdez Valters, almost a set shot. And the follow-up does not go. Scramble inside. Bernard Thompson scrambling for the ball, and a foul is called against Jovachka. Sergei Jovachka picks up the personal foul.
But I'll tell you, who made that play was Bernard Thompson going head-to-head with Belostany and getting the ball away from him. Now watch the action on the floor. The Soviets not afraid to use their elbows and their muscle. I mean, that's what they get away with in most of their games. Now watch Bernard battle him.
Next time, one at a time, okay?
Boyd Grant going down to the score and telling the next turnover he'd like a timeout.
It's tied at 29. 4 minutes, 25 seconds left to play in the first half.
15 seconds on the shot clock.
Bradley. Inside Thompson. Kept alive.
Kept out. That was an excellent pass by Tyrone to get it to Bernard. Bernard, knowing that he's surrounded by a couple of trees there, forcing a little bit.
Very physical game inside, which the Bulldogs expected they would find. Barmore pulls up, 18-footer short. Rebound by the Soviet Union, and up they come on the break. Walters, far side, Javachka, he's their shooter. He puts it up, he hits it. That's his first 2 of the night.
Soviets go back out in front by 2, 31-29. First time they've been in the lead for about the last 6 minutes.
3 minutes, 22 seconds left to go as you look at Alexander Gonosky on the Soviet bench.
Remember, you cannot call a timeout from the floor. Now, Boyd Grant wants a timeout, but the action will have to dictate that on the floor. You cannot take it after a shot.
Desi Barmore. 1 second left. He gets the shot off, and it's off of his head, out of bounds.
Nice block by Sabonis that time. Coming over the top.
Boyd Grant a little confused about the way his team is running their offensive set tonight. Sabonis turnaround off the glass for 2.
All right, there's no pressure on the wings on that pass, and Sabonis has the position. The 2 things that Fresno State had to stop. They had to get pressure on the wings so they can't get the pass into the big man.
You look at the faces of the Soviet players, and there's not much intensity defensively. They seem to really be antsy to get the ball off the boards and run with it. And they love making the quick outlet pass and getting up the floor as quick as they can. The Bulldogs have stymied those efforts all night long. Mosbar. 3 seconds to go. Thompson wheels, dishes it off, no go.
2:15 left in the half. Soviets up by 4.
In the middle, Golostany's shot rolls off the rim. Mitch Arnold, and it rattled on the end line out of bounds.
Mosbar doing a good job to force Golostany to try and take that pass, forced his shot, and Mitch just not being able to control the rebound.
Sardonis, 1 dribble into the lane, and he's fouled by Desi Barmore. Substitution for the Soviet Union, Nikolai Deryugin coming back into their lineup, replacing their starting 7-footer, Alexander Golostany. For the Bulldogs, their backcourt of Cleve Lewis and Omel Nieves coming back in, replacing Bradley and Arnold. Dave Mosbar getting a breather also as Ronnie Anderson checks in. 2 minutes, 7 seconds to go in the first half. Arvydas Sabonis at the free throw line.
Fresno State not scoring for the past couple of minutes, the last 3 or 4 times down the floor. And you're certainly not going to be able to give this team too big a lead. We're talking about the Soviets. Penalty shot now.
1 more. 34-29. Our score, Soviet Union inching out into the lead.
Next
35-29 the score. 2 minutes to play. Omel Nieves goes down, salvages things.
Soviets coming out a little half-court pressure that time, the first time they've done that tonight.
I want to see if we can pick up Boyd Grant directly in front of us, hollowing out his instructions, and maybe let him call the action here in the last few seconds. Barmore, short. Out it comes the long fast break. Sardonis, Komikis to the baseline. Doesn't go. Omel Nieves brings it down. It's taken away by Javachka. And a foul is called on Javachka. Sergei Javachka picks up his 2nd personal foul.
Good defense by Omel Nieves on that fast break, 1-on-1. He didn't take the first fake, and then he's in position to get the rebound. It's taken away for a second. He goes back after it and then is fouled.
Soviet Union team very, very well coached. They do a lot of things that it's very difficult to teach.
Well, one thing is they get to play so long together with so much experience.
That's true. 16-game U.S. tour. This is game 3 on their travels.
Bad pass by Bernard. He could. But
long outlet pass for Javachka. Thompson comes up with it to Nieves. Out of bounds it goes. And it'll be the Soviet Union basketball.
The crowd thinking that maybe O'Mel was forced out as he was trying to control the ball by the Soviet player, but it was his momentum carrying him out. Bernard makes a good play here to keep it in action.
Well, away on the replay, Desi Barmore blocking his shot, pinning it against the board, and he is called for the personal foul.
Real important now for Fresno State after these free throws to come down and get another basket. They haven't scored in a while, and the Soviets have built up now a 6-point lead depending on these free throws.
Hitting his first, Nikolai Deryugin, his first point of the night.
You only have 5 seconds to shoot the free throw in international rules.
Doesn't need the bonus. He hits him right off the bat. 1:09 left to play. 37-29. 8-point lead held by the Soviet Union.
A little over 4,000 in the crowd tonight, trying to get the Bulldogs to get some points here with under 1 minute to go.
Nieves driving into the lane. He was pushed by, I believe, yes, that was Valdez Valters. There you can see the foul as he dished it off. Cleve Lewis to inbound, gets it into Desi Barmore. 54 seconds to go. Lewis trying to set things up. And they're going to work it down as much as they can. 17 seconds on the clock. Bernard Thompson picked up by Javachka. Going into the lane. Double pump. Little flip, and it goes. Seconds to go. Valdez Valters with the ball. Dishes it off. It's just Jovachka. Inside for the big guy. To the baseline. Little turnaround. Rattles around. Doesn't go. And a foul is called on Jovachka over the top of Desi Barmore. Jovachka with his third personal foul. That has got to hurt. And Alexander Gamelki very upset with the officiating. Sergei Jovachka, his third personal. Now that has to hurt. Nieves. 10 seconds left. Doesn't go. Bad shot. Nieves to the baseline. Out of bounds. No. Ronnie Anderson saves the ball. Keeps it in bounds. Cleve Lewis. Out of bounds it goes at the buzzer. Our halftime score. The Soviet Union 37, Fresno State 31, and Pat Ogle is out on the court. He is going to try and get a hold of Alexander Gamelski for some quick comments before the Soviet Union goes to the locker room. But at present, they don't seem to be headed toward the locker room at all. They are huddling around their bench, and Alexander Gamelski wants to talk to, well, let's see.
Okay.
With us right now is Coach Alexander Gamelski. What do you think of the first half, Coach?
I think this is a tough game. And American players, good defense, contact defense, and nice rebounds, and good shooter. I like it, number 34.
Bernard
Good.
Thompson.
Yes, nice players, and a good number 40. These boys very good rebounds, good shooting, good organization, game.
Is this the toughest team that you faced so far of your first 3 games?
Yes, not too much tired, but difficult program, and 24 game, 24 days, and 12 game. This is too much difficult. And second, tomorrow, this time in Moscow, 4 o'clock tonight.
Hard to adjust.
This is difficult for my boys. And Moscow snow, many snow, much cold. Here is California, nice climate, nice country. I send salute American sportsmen, American basketball people, and all American country, because my country and the United States people like it peace and like it friendship.
Coach, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us. Good luck on the rest of the tour.
Okay,
Nice meeting
thank you.
That's the coach. He coached the Olympics 2 times for Russia. His club has won 18 national championships. We'll have more halftime entertainment after these messages.
Peggy Joplin.
Soviets got out to a pretty quick lead, and the Bulldogs battled back and made some offensive changes. Were very patient, were able to take the fast break away from the Soviet Union, actually took the lead, and I guess their biggest lead was what, Pat, about 4 points at one point?
I think you're right there.
Been an outstanding first half. So let's go to Scott Fury back in the studio. Two other Bulldogs scored. Desi Barmore with 4, Dave Mosbar with 2. For the Soviet Union, Victor Berezhnoy with 6, Arvidas Sabonis with 6, Valdis Valters with 6, 11 points for Bolesteny. Let's take it over to Pat Ogle.
Coach Grant, you made one good run at them, and I think you were happy with that particular middle part of the first half.
Well, I thought that while we were playing pretty fresh that we really looked pretty good, but with their size and their physicalness, they really wore us down, and it wasn't long before they were able to do anything that they wanted to. And I think sometimes, Pat, that this is the thing that really hurts you early in a game, especially playing someone as tough as Russia is, that we don't have anything else to go to. In other words, we need to take care of their sag, but you know, basically we've only worked on a couple of things man-wise, and I'm not making excuses. We really felt they'd play us zone, so we worked harder on the zone than we did on the man, and they've turned it around on us. So, you know, we do have a possibility of looking real bad this second half.
Okay, we'll watch for you in the second half then. Okay. Thanks, Coach. All right, and now these commercial messages before the second.
Ronnie Anderson opposing him. Offensive tip going to Gamelski. And he puts it in for 2. Chavachka, I should say. Nice
fake. Bernard going up to try and block the shot when he first thought he went up, and he took the lip fake, and then the Soviet went right underneath him.
Mitch Arnold with the ball. Ronnie Anderson near side against the big man. Dumps it off for Barmore, baseline. He turns around and puts it up. Doesn't go. Anderson follows, and the Bulldogs get it back.
Ron wincing a little bit on that, I think on that sore leg a little bit on that particular play. Looking back in the first half, 5 minutes Fresno went from when they had 29 to when they got their next 2 points, 31. And that's a pretty long drought, and that's why the Soviets ended up with a 6-point lead and now made that 8 points start the second half.
Soviets going with their twin timbers in the lineup. Sabonis and Belostany. This is Mitch Arnold. And the Soviets come up with it. Chavachka, 2-on-1 break, and Valdis Valters puts it in for 2.
Tyrone tried to intercept. Now it's having problems. Getting a little rough in there.
Jump ball. Jump it up.
Official Jim Clark calling a jump ball. Boyd Grant coming down asking for a timeout. Just before we see that, the man getting the ball there, Tyrone went for the interception at half court, didn't even come close. Boyd has asked for a timeout. They're checking to see if they can take a timeout. Again, as we explained a little bit in the first half, yes, they are going to get a timeout. And so we'll also take this timeout now as Fresno State tries to regroup.
Things organized.
That's right, and they're only allowed, each team is only allowed 2 timeouts, so that's why that's so critical, him taking it. But what he told them in the huddle was, let's not get out of it already. I mean, now they've jumped out, gotten 4 more points since the start of the half, and jump up by 10, and Fresno State just cannot let them get that far ahead.
Already one of the lower scoring games in the 16-game Soviet tour, game 3 for the Soviets. Soviets winning the tip and taking it over in backcourt, Valdis Valters. They defeated Pepperdine in their opener Tuesday night, 116-110 in Greyhound race, and then they defeated Oregon on Wednesday night, 78-63. Oregon slowing things down a little bit, controlling the tempo, just as the Bulldogs are trying to do tonight.
Ron Anderson with excellent position that time.
And you know, you watch Ronnie Anderson play, and you just ask yourself, how good would he be if he had 4 years of high school experience under his belt? He is amazing.
One thing now, you saw Ron there, he could have taken the shot just a little bit above the free throw line, and that's one thing they want Anderson to do more, is shoot. In practice, he loves throwing the ball, and he's a team player.
Soviets retain possession, Anderson tipping it, and the crowd obviously thought that it went off in the hands of the Soviets. Long pass for Valdis Valters, putting it up over Desi Barmore and gets it for 2.
An excellent pass by Komacek from the out of bounds. Tyrone was just out, too much hype on him that time. Coach Grant telling them in the timeout on offense, you have to get organized. We can get good shots. They have been getting good shots, but they'll take their time, even within that 30 seconds.
There's Anderson. Belostany picks him up. He dishes it off to Thompson. Inside for Barmore.
30 seconds. Have to get the shot off in 30 seconds. But again, we say in the PC2A that 30 seconds will start. That 30 seconds will start once the ball gets across midcourt. Here it starts as soon as you control the ball at the other end.
That's right.
Come on, Bob. Get in the damn game.
Belostany trying to go up and feed it down to the other 7-footer, Sabonis.
Ron Anderson's call for the foul.
Sabonis. On the baseline, this is Walters. Sabonis going up over Barmore. Rims the iron, doesn't go, and Thompson coming down with it. 43-31 our score. 17 minutes to play in the ball game.
Fresno State, of course, in just a couple of weeks of practice now, they're not in any position to play this experienced a team. Bernard trying to drive there.
Gabachka called for the foul.
Bernard also coming up a little bit of a hurt. I think it's up in the upper leg. Tries to make a quick drive. Of course, Bernard's going to use his quickness all year. I think he got a knee in the thigh area that time. It looks like he's moving all right.
Thompson with the ball. Bulldogs trying to maintain control of the tempo of the basketball game. The Soviets, they love to run. Thompson baseline, no good. Here comes Valdes Valters on a 2-on-1. He's got Kamikis, and Thompson comes up with a loose ball. Bradley motoring up the floor. Bulldogs on the break. Bradley in the lane, puts it up. No go, and the Soviets come down with it, and Boyd Grant is very upset on the bench, and O'Malley Evans will be going in to replace Tyrone Bradley. Fadeaway jumper by Kamikis, and it goes for a pair.
What Coach Grant is upset at, that Bradley made an excellent play coming down, but then he tried to drive on Sabonis, and there's no way, and Sabonis knocked it out of his hands.
Barmore's 15-footer drops. He's got 6.
So Fresno State gets on the board in the second half. But still trailed by 12, 33-45.
Sabonis on Barmore. Twists and puts it up and draws the foul.
Barmore looking over at the bench that time to the coaching staff and saying he's not my man. In other words, he's thinking that he shouldn't have been in that area. But as we were saying, that's what the Soviets want to do. They want to spread them out, try and get the pass into the lane to the big men, and they've been very successful doing that tonight.
Arvydas Sabonis shooting the free throws, 6 points thus far, and he hits the first. Sabonis with the pair. It's 47-33. Ronnie Anderson. Thompson.
With two 7-footers in there, 7-2, you can really clog up the middle by just standing.
Barmore's shot good. He's got 8 points. They'll never face height like that during the season. Of course, this is a good test for the Bulldogs because in about their 4th game of the year, they're going to go up against one of the best centers in the nation, Russell Cross, when they go back to play Purdue. Walters driving, doesn't get it. And an over-the-back foul called on Alexander Belostany.
And even though he might not speak much English, the referee did get an expression on the face on what he thought about the foul. Desi getting position there. Belostany reaching over. Soviet coach all the way down past half court, directing his men. Very cordial, as you can see at halftime in the interview. Very complimentary.
Ronnie Anderson, the baseline, has it blocked. Out of bounds it goes. Bulldogs retain possession. Sabonis really likes to be the big fly swatter in the middle. He likes to swat the shots away, and that's the first opportunity he has had to do that tonight.
And he didn't even have to get off the floor to do that. I mean, you reach about 11 feet once you reach up, and you're 7'2".
Barmore waits for Anderson and gets him. Mitch Arnold inside to Desi. Mitch Arnold wide open, puts up the jumper and hits it.
Calling within 10 now, 37-47. A little over 15 minutes left in the second half.
On the drive, taken away by Nieves. Soviets get it back, and they throw it out of bounds.
There we saw some excellent pressure defense like we're used to seeing with the Bulldogs. Blocked against the backboard. The shot will count. Now there again, it's kind of hard to sometimes interpret the play at one end when you can take it out so quickly along the sidelines. And the Fresno State has done that much better than the Soviets under the international rules. But the shot was blocked against the backboard, so now it's within 8.
Inside it goes. The little spin. Oh, foul call on Nieves.
The crowd thinking he had both hands on the ball, hoping for a jump ball. Of course, that probably would not have made much difference either. I don't understand I don't understand going to the free throw line. Now watch, O'Malley comes back, collapses very well on the big guy, claiming he had one arm on him, but I don't know if he was prepared to shoot or not.
And Savonis misses the free throw.
But he has the penalty.
He has 9 points thus far.
The penalty being, if you're in the act of shooting, the foul is called. You have 3 shots to make 2.
10 points for Arvydas Savonis, the 18-year-old 7-footer. Ronnie Anderson. Inside. Doesn't get the roll. Thompson follows. They're giving him the basket on a goaltending call.
I think the call there is you cannot touch the ring if the ball is on it. Now let's see if he gets his hand on the ring. Well, that angle we can't tell. You can go up and swat it out of the cylinder, but you still cannot put your hand on the ring.
Credit the basket to Bernard Thompson. 14 points for Bernard thus far. And away he comes with the ball. Long pass. Ronnie Anderson going up with it. Doesn't get it. Soviets coming up with a loose ball. And they motor it up the other end of the floor.
That's a big try right there. Fresno being 8 points down, they could have cut it to 6.
Walters from 18 doesn't get it. Scramble for the ball. Thompson has it. Outlet pass. Desi Barmore has it stripped away by Walters. And the Soviets cash in.
Getting pretty rough under there. Desi was not in a position to make a good dribble. Should have passed off in that situation.
Getting caught up in the up-tempo, which is what the Soviets like to do. Make you pick things up and create mistakes. And off
Ronnie Anderson shoots from the outside. And there's the long pass that they haven't been able to get tonight, and there it is. That's the first time tonight they've got their long pass out and worked the fast break like they've done so successfully on the tour so far, and like they like to do in all their international games.
That was Valdemar Komika sitting on the way. A post bar set to come in along with Cleve Lewis. Ronnie Anderson, Bernard Thompson.
And personally, I also think what we're seeing out there reaching over, Sabonis reaching over, but what I think we're seeing out there a little bit is Fresno State getting a little tired, especially when it got to be up-tempo. Now, again, they're 3 or 4 weeks into the practice schedule. They've been practicing very hard, and it's not like after you've had a month or 2 of practice and had a little game experience.
Mitch Arnold and Desi Barmore taking a breather. Cleve Lewis and Dave Mosbar check in. Lewis to put the ball in play on the far side. Mosbar. Cleve Lewis and O'Malley Evers, the new guard tandem. This is Ronnie Anderson looking inside. Nothing doing in there. Back out high to Mosbar. Anderson with a turnaround. Doesn't get it. Battle for the ball on the far side. And Savonis coming up with a long pass down court to Kamikas. Pulls it up to Walters. Walters with a 17-footer.
They normally never throw it to the trail man. In the films that Fresno State looked at, that time they waited, and the last man coming down, they pitched it out, and he had a good jump shot. They normally will not do that, and so Fresno State was sagging back on the fast break.
55-41 is our score. 12 minutes, 36 seconds left to play in the ball game. Mosbar, far side. There's Anderson.
8 seconds on the shot clock.
Whistle and a foul is called on Kamikas.
Komikas just smiles, nods his head at the referee. I don't know if that he's agreeing or not. All right, now Cleve will try and drive now across the top of the key here. Kamikas reaching in.
First foul on Kamikas. Nieves with the ball.
Right now you have 3 men in there that were not playing with Fresno State last year. And it's pretty tough to come into this kind of competition and look real smooth.
Mosbar
as a team.
pulling up from 15 and hitting it.
That's going to be a very effective weapon for the Bulldogs this year. Dave Mosbar, 6'11", but a great touch from the outside.
He's been troubled by some ankle problems the last couple of weeks, but looks 100% tonight. Foul call inside.
Walters driving there. He's their playmaker. He drove on Nieves. Nieves reached in as he went up to shoot.
12-point difference, 55-43, 12 minutes to play in the ball game.
14 against the Bulldogs in the second half.
The Red Wavers here tonight. Pretty good show of Red tonight.
Well, I'll say.
Who are they rooting for? Since both these teams respect Red a lot, right?
A lot more international basketball coming up too at Fresno State. The women will be playing the Chinese national team next Wednesday night out in the men's gym. Walters. 11 points thus far.
Back to a 14-point lead.
Anderson. Cleve Lewis looks in for Ronnie Anderson. Anderson to the baseline, puts it up, and it's blocked against the board by Sabonis.
But he comes back
and
to
Anderson
steal it.
Scrambles for it, but doesn't quite come up with it.
He was blocked. That shot was blocked by both 7'2".
Bulldog ball.
What impressions you about Anderson is right there. He had his shot blocked, but he didn't leave the play. He came back and almost stole it.
Thompson, reverse doesn't go, kept alive by Thompson, and he's whistled for the foul. Correction, out of bounds it goes.
I think the Bulldogs right now underneath are feeling very threatened because Bernard has an excellent shot there. And look at this, both Sabonis and Bolestany there to intimidate him. And you've got to shoot over those people. Even if you have a good shot, they just get a hand up. Again, they're 10 feet off the floor, just standing still.
Thompson from the free throw line. He has 16 tonight. It is 57-45. Fresno. This is Bolestany. His shot from the free throw line is good. 15 points for Bolestany. His first two in the second half. He's really been ineffective in the second half.
I tell you, though, if you can hit shots from the free throw line and also be 7'2", you can be effective.
What a few NBA teams would give to have either Sabonis in a couple of years or Bolestany right now. Not to mention a playmaking guard like Valdes Valters.
Cleve Lewis, this is the example of forcing the shot. Now we have one-on-one.
Broken up by Cleve Lewis.
Fresno doing an excellent job of getting back on that break. They are beating the second man down the floor, and that's proved to be real important because the Soviets are just dishing it off when they think their man's going to be there.
A little bit of Bobby Knight and Alexander Gomelsky down there. The Soviet coach slapping his players and grabbing them, trying to get their attention. Shot from the corner. Rattles around. The follow-up good by Bereznoi.
Bereznoi going right down the key. Nice long pass by Nieves.
Anderson, Cleve Lewis puts it up, no go, and a foul is called.
But did you see Anderson? He had a shot. He normally would have had a shot. He faked a couple times, and Bolestany just held his position, and he knew he couldn't go over the top of it.
Very, very intelligent ball player. And that's going to pay off down the road for the Bulldogs. First personal foul, surprisingly, tonight on Alexander Bolestany. Normally, you expect a big guy that weighs 240 pounds and is as active as Alexander Bolestany is in the middle to pick up a lot of fouls early. He has not. That's his first of the night, which means he either isn't playing with much intensity or he's getting away with a lot.
Well, also, the way Fresno State is running their offense, they're looking for the good shot. They're not going to get it underneath most of the time against this team, and so he's not in the action so much when Fresno's shooting. He's going to have to pick it up on the rebounds and that type of thing.
Mark Gustin, the freshman from Madera High School, set to come in along with Desi Barmore and Mitch Arnold. Fresno State going to try and get some size in the lineup.
It'll be real interesting to see when Mark does come into the game because he is definitely a physical player, and I don't care if he's a freshman against veterans. He is not afraid to throw his weight around.
Thompson with a rebound. Long pass for Ronnie Anderson. All alone. He snapped the ball. $61-49. Soviets still with a commanding lead. And that perks up some eyes on the Soviet bench, especially on the floor, I should say, as a couple of their players put the hand up asking for the big lob pass. They heard the crowd squealing with delight over Ronnie Anderson's dunk, and they wanted to return it. Thompson losing control of the ball.
A break for Fresno State there because Bernard was out of control, trying to force it along the sidelines.
Substitutions for the Bulldogs: Mark Gustin, Mitch Arnold, and Desi Barmore coming in. Of the Soviet Union, their coach Alexander Gamelski calls a timeout. Our score: Bulldogs 49, Soviets 61.
Squad on the field. I'm thinking about tomorrow, aren't I? Fresno State trying to get in the Cal Bowl tomorrow against Fullerton. But here at 61-49, Mitch Arnold will be taken out. Say in the lineup now: Arnold and Bradley, the guards, Barmore, Mark Gustin seeing his first collegiate action, and Ron Anderson.
Desi Barmore, Ronnie Anderson with the ball. Fundamentally, the Soviets play very, very good man-to-man defense. Barmore's shot too hard. Arnold, Ronnie Anderson follows it and gets it.
Mitch Arnold keeping that ball alive, though, off the offensive board. Mitch, an excellent board man at 6'4".
17 points for Ronnie Anderson, leading scorer in the ball game. And we've got quite a shoving match going on inside between Gustin, the 6'11 freshman, and the Soviets' big man, Alexander Volosteny.
And the fans should look at that in the key area. Gustin, number 52.
Arnold. Foul called on number 6, Victor Bereznoi.
The Bulldogs could pull as close as they've been in the second half right now. Trailing by 10 right now with a basket. They could cut it to 8.
Bernard Thompson coming in to the Bulldog lineup, replacing Ronnie Anderson, who goes out with 17 points. 8:29 to play, 10-point difference. Soviets leading 61-51. Barmore.
Fresno getting all of their scoring from their front linemen tonight.
Desi pulls up for the jumper. It doesn't go. Battle inside, and a foul called on Mark Gustin. Things getting pretty physical.
And Mark is going to probably tend to do that in his first experience in here, especially in this particular game. All right, now let's watch. Now watch away from the ball. Here's 52, Mark Gustin now. Well, he gets an elbow first, and then it's just a shoving match to try and get control. Steal by Arnold.
Arnold with a tip in.
Oh, tremendous.
You're sitting here shaking your head. I think everybody is.
Tyrone trying to pass off. The ball's tipped up in the air, and Arnold goes up and tips it in. A super play on both ends by Arnold.
Down the baseline, 360 spin, and he scores it for the Soviets, number 15, Valorar Kamikas, and he chuckles as he heads up court.
Showing a lot of international talent right there. Just a great individual move. Soviets back up by 10.
Lob inside Bernard Thompson, double team. Mitch. To Gustin, can't control it. The Soviets on the fast break. Walters.
It was an excellent pass by Mitch.
And the big 7-footer gets his wish, getting to slam one home.
Going back to that play, it was an excellent pass by Mitch Arnold underneath to Mark Gustin, but his hands just weren't ready for the pass, and he dropped it. Now, that's a big turnover right there, because instead of cutting it possibly to 8, you're back trailing by 12.
Ronnie Anderson's going to check back in for Fresno State. They try the lob for Thompson, knocked away. Bulldogs control. Ronnie Anderson in for Mark Gustin for Fresno State. Soviet substitution. That'll be Sergei Jamachka. And he replaces number 6, Victor Bereznoi.
Mitch Arnold can give them the passing and a little bit of a leadership that he's been showing down in this last 3 or 4 minutes. It's really going to be a great help to Fresno State. Mitch, a lot of expected of him last year.
Desi, top of the key, short. Anderson with a rebound, bringing it back out.
A smart play. The clock's reset at 30, and he knows going up against there with the big boys underneath.
Stolen away. This is Kamikas and Barmore, and Kamikas scores it.
Bad pass by Desi, not looking. You still have to look at where you're going to pass it. Kamikas taking advantage of it.
And Cleve Lewis is going to come in for Fresno State.
Every time Fresno State has got into a challenge position, The Soviets have reeled off about 6 points.
Thompson gives it a try in traffic, and it doesn't fall, and Javachka comes up with it. These are the players you're going to see in the '84 Olympics for the Soviet Union. Very unique opportunity to have this talent in Fresno. Cleve Lewis in replaces Desi Barmore for the Bulldogs, so Lewis will operate at a forward spot. And that gives the Bulldogs great versatility.
Right, Cleve or Mitch. Either one of them could do that. In fact, they're looking at the bench right now, questioning. It looks like Mitch is going to be playing the forward spot. Lewis will be the guard.
The Soviets are pretty well snuffed out the Bulldogs' plays. As you watch, when the guard breaks to the free throw line, the Soviet defender will pop back up.
Tyrone just getting out of the way there. There's no way.
Savonis with 14 points.
Soviets doing a lot better job, or Fresno State not doing as good of a job of defensing their fast break here in the second half.
Tyrone. His first 2 of the night.
We haven't mentioned, but you can notice the big red circle just at the top of the key, right about from where he shot there. That will be a 3-point play in the PC2A this year.
Ronnie Anderson, 19 points for Anderson.
Very impressive with his body movements there, taking the pass, one stride going up, hesitating for just a second to bank it on. Well, it wasn't meant to be a pass. He was just throwing it away as he tripped.
Totally out of control inside.
But Bolestany taking the pass, putting it in. 17
points for the big guy. Anderson baseline dishes it off for Thompson, who hits for 2.
Well, that's where the Soviets are weak. In other words, if you can get them up in the air, they're not great defensively, good passing. But Fresno State again on offense hasn't had an opportunity.
Whoa! And it goes to the Bulldogs.
The call.
And the Soviet coach
now watch Bernard. Watch Bernard. Now watch, he blocks the ball. That's a clean block, making him miss the stuff.
The Soviet coach raced out onto the floor as play went up to the other end, and a foul was called at the other end. Mario Ellis, a freshman guard from Los Angeles, comes in to replace Cleve Lewis. For the Soviets, they're going to send in Nikolai Derugin, who they call their enforcer, 6'8", 220. And in the scouting report, they told whoever was going to be guarding him to be prepared to be hit.
Be interesting to see now with Mario Ellis, one of the new freshmen in the lineup. I think, well, here, look at on camera, he's just a little bit off camera now. Soviet coach all the way down, almost in front of the Fresno bench.
Ellis looks inside for Arnold. Arnold spinning, pumping, doesn't get it, and the Soviets come away with it. On a fast break, it is stolen by Bradley. A 4-on-1. Anderson dishes it back to Bradley, losing control, but he puts it in. 71-61. It's a 10-point ball game. 3:57 left to play. Kamikas to the baseline. Cut off by Anderson. Double teamed by Ellis. Fires up a shot. Doesn't go. Bradley comes down with the basketball. Looking up court. Motors it into forecourt. Bradley pulling up. There's Anderson to the baseline for 2. He has 21.
And we're within 8 now. 63-71. Tyrone directing the traffic as he came down the floor. Motioning to Anderson what he wanted him to do.
Long-range bomb of the Soviets doesn't go, and the big guy literally threw Thompson out of there. Anderson with a layup, it doesn't go. Tipped away off of the Soviets and out of bounds. Bulldog ball in the near corner.
I'll tell you, the only reason that Ronnie Anderson missed that particular shot is I think he's dead tired out there right now. Just hustling up back and forth. Now watch, if he goes up, he has a good shot.
And the Soviets have called a timeout. The score, 71. The Soviets, 63. Bulldogs back with a finish after this.
Since the start of the second half, over the basket now, they could close to within 6.
Mario Ellis putting it inbound. Side center court. Tyrone Bradley.
You do not have anybody over 6'7" in the lineup right now.
Thompson going to the hole.
Off their leg.
Kicked out of bounds. Bulldog ball. And the Soviets just get a look at the officials in astonishment.
Well, I don't think they had a good look at that one. As Bernard tried to dribble in, it went right off the Soviet's leg.
Anderson, Bradley. 3 minutes left to play in the ball game. 8 points the difference.
What you have is tremendous quickness in there right now. Because the Soviets don't have their big lineup in. Sabonis still in at 7-2.
Anderson. Mario Ellis back to Thompson. Blocked for the big guy, but he follows it and hits it.
Great fingertip roll. Going up. He had to go around his hand with his left. Of course, that's Bernard's natural hand. We're within 6, 71-65.
Javachka, give and go. Valdez Walters shot doesn't fall, and Anderson has the rebound. Bradley motors it into forecourt. Thompson on baseline, doesn't get it. Whistle, and a foul is called against Arvydas Sabonis.
A super pass, an outstanding pass that time by Tyrone. Now watch, almost from the top of the key, weaved it right through to Bernard. Doesn't really have control of the ball and throws it up there. But the foul's called.
And the Soviets coach, Alexander Gabelsky, immediately makes a substitution, putting his 7'2" center Alexander Belosteny back into the lineup and taking out power forward Nikolai Derugin. And Thompson misses the free throw. It's 71-65, 2 minutes, 26 seconds left to play here from Selland Arena.
What we've seen at the other end of the Soviets missing some shots, letting Fresno State have a chance to get back in, and Fresno State with an excellent fast break in the last 6 minutes. That's what it's got them back in the game after they've gotten the rebounds.
Misses the second when the Soviets come down with it. 71-66 is our score. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to play. Full court pressure put on by the Bulldogs. Walters inside for Sabonis. Double team, doesn't get it. Belosteny doesn't go. We've got a whistle and a foul on the play, and the foul is called
Mario
Ellis, and he's holding his wrist in great pain.
I think what happened on that particular time, Mario got his arm caught. I think it's his shoulder, maybe. That's it. All right, now let's watch Ellis underneath the basket. I think he gets his arm caught in the big guy on the rebound. Now watch, there he is, number 12, right there, and the man will jerk him across his shoulder. Probably just pulled his shoulder right out.
They're going to substitute for him and put O'Mel Nieves into the ballgame. There you see, they're going to take him to the locker room to check either it's his shoulder or his elbow, but they're going to check him out in the locker room.
Well, if you have one foot of leverage against somebody, you can do a lot of damage with their arm among your shoulders, and that's exactly a 7-2 against 6-2.
Lob pass, and they get it into Belosteny, who dunks it, but it doesn't count. Foul before the shot called on Mitch Arnold. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left in this one. Mitch Arnold picking up the foul, his first of the night.
Well, Boyd has to be happy with the way his team has come back after being down by as much as 14, I think, was the big lead, and to cut it to 6.
They bring it in deep.
Now, what happens? What happens when you put full court pressure? It opens up your big men inside.
Long bomb doesn't go. Battle inside. Javachka puts it back in. 73-66 the score. Thompson with the ball, dancing along the far sideline. On the floor it goes, and the Soviets come up with it. Javachka and Walters on the break. Javachka,
great play by Noel.
And Tyrone Bradley comes away with it. Foul called on Javachka, though, before the break gets started.
Tremendous by O'Mel. As he went up, he went behind him and knocked the ball away. Penalty situation now.
Bonus 2 shots after 19 fouls and a half. Then we have a bonus situation under international rules.
Tyrone going to the line for 2 shots. In international rules, you have 2 shots after the 9th foul, or on the 9th foul.
73-66, a minute 41. Bradley at the free throw line.
We asked Tyrone Bradley if he thought he could be the floor leader this year.
Yes. Look up to me because I have that 4 years experience, and no other player on the team has that. So I think he's kind of looking up to me. So are a couple of other younger players too.
And are you ready to accept that?
Oh yeah, I'm already ready to accept any kind of pressure. I love pressure. You know, they always tell me there's no pressure unless you make it pressure. So no one's made pressure yet, so there's no pressure.
No pressure. be no pressure. He cans it. 70-73 with a minute 19 left. Mitch Arnold almost stealing the ball on the inbounds pass, knocking it out of bounds.
3 points is all the difference. 1:16 left to play. Soviet Union inbounding, full court pressure, and they get the long fast break. Walters is hammered by Nieves.
That could be an intentional foul. Let's see what they call this. An intentional foul, the two-shot foul.
Shooting a pair, that's correct. Here you see it again, and O'Mel, that's all he could do. Kind of looked like a defensive back trying to break things up.
No. Yes, they did. I thought they were going to take it out of bounds for a second. On an intentional foul, it's a two-shot foul. Minute 13.
Walters hits it. 13 points.
What Fresno has done so much better in the second half is putting the pressure and getting the Soviets spread out.
That is 5 personal fouls on O'Mel Nieves, and they did not catch it earlier to get him off the floor.
They're also saying the score 75-70. They hadn't put the other point up.
That's 5 personals. O'Mel Nieves has fouled out of the ball game, and Cleve Lewis will come in to replace him.
I think O'Mel tonight showed a lot of maturity, what he had gained last year coming in as a junior, learning the system. Right now, he and Tyrone are the #1 guards, and I think you'll probably see them play about half and half this year.
75-70. Cleve Lewis with the ball. Anderson. Down low, Mitch Arnold pulls up for it. And Anderson's right there to put it in. 23 points for Ronnie Anderson. It's a 3-point difference inside of a minute. 53 seconds to play. An all-out scramble as the Bulldogs try and get the ball back.
We're still on a 30-second clock. 15 seconds left to get a shot. Trying to cut off the pass inside.
40 seconds to play. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Javachka inside of the big man. Up he goes, and he gets it for a pair.
Soviets showing that they can handle pressure.
30 seconds to play, and the Soviets now with full court pressure on, and an errant pass. Javachka's got it. And Javachka hits it. 79-72 is the score. 14 seconds to play.
Tyrone anticipating on that inbounds pass that Cleveland's going to make one move, and that's again experience.
Arnold muscles in, doesn't quite get it. Anderson right there staying with it. Doesn't get it. It's blocked inside, and that's the ball game. Our final score here from Selland Arena, the Soviet Union 79, Fresno State 72. Back with some post-game interviews and comments after this.
Two different halves in the second half. They got up by 14 at the first part. What were your problems there as you analyzed it?
Well, I thought they were doing a good job of sagging and not playing some of the people that we had planned for them to play. And we wanted to tempo the ball, and so we weren't willing to take the real easy shot that they were giving us at first, because we did not want to run with that kind of tempo. So that was hurting us at first, and they were overplaying our pick, and we weren't really doing a great job of executing, and then got disorganized at times. But the one thing I can say about them is that I felt like that coming out for the second half, I thought maybe Russia had a chance to kind of destroy us, because they were doing a good job of taking our tempo game away. But the kids picked up the tempo after we got down, and you know, like all of the teams that we've had here, I believe in the 5 years I've been here, we didn't quit.
That's right.
We tried to come back.
All right, now looking at your players, you saw a lot of new faces tonight. Quickly going through, what were you impressed with?
Well, I was impressed with Anderson without any doubt. I mean, I think he can play better, but I was definitely impressed with him because he did some good things. But, you know, I really was disappointed in a couple of the veteran kids that I thought they really played terrible and played no defense for us whatsoever. And conditioning was very poor. In the first half, ran out of gas, a couple of our kids. And really, I don't think that should have happened, Pat, because we practiced hard, and conditioning should have been coming around by this time.
All right, what do you think this game does for you now after going against a very veteran team this early in the season? Is that a help to you now that they've had that kind of competition?
Well, I don't know. You know, I thought the end of the game the last 10 minutes were pretty straggly, really. They were playing that way a little bit, too. They were a great shooting team. I wouldn't think that everyone we would play could shoot the ball as well as Russia.
North Star 272 guys.
No, you know, they had some definite weaknesses. I could see where an excellent American team could beat them, because they are going to give the ball up in a lot of areas. Really excellent shooting team. My gosh, I thought we played pretty well with pretty good intensity at times, and they shoot off the glass so well, right, too. So, yeah, well, you know, I think experiencing that good a team, Pat, certainly didn't hurt us, because we didn't. I don't think we lost any confidence over it. I think that the kids feel like that the Russian team was maybe about as good a team as we'll play all year.
Okay, you got 3 weeks for the sun, Matt. We'll see you back here.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And we'll be talking to our most valuable player of tonight, Ron Anderson, after these messages. First collegiate game at Fresno State, 23 points. How do you feel?
Well, it was a great moment. I wish we could have, you know, came away with the win, because we wanted to win it. We wanted to win it bad.
All right, what did you expect going into the game, Ron, coming out of Santa Barbara? What did you expect as far as your performance? Did you think there would be a lot of difference in the competition?
For sure, but coming in playing against Desi and Bernard, you know, in practice, my confidence built up a little bit, so I felt pretty good about it.
As you got into the game, you were going against a couple of fellas 7'2". Did that make you have to play differently?
Well, I had to do my best as far as fronting them and everything, which I didn't think I did a good job, but I did my best, and those guys are just big. I've never played against anyone that big.
Has it been difficult for you to adjust to the Fresno State system, the intensity both on defense?
Well, it's kind of early to tell, because, well, I came from a program where Frank Carbajal, the coach there, we ran pretty much the same defense, but Fresno State, you know, played the defense with a bit more intensity, and I'm working at it.
All right, everybody saw the heavy bandage on your leg, and they're going to take a look at that Monday. Is that correct? What's the problem, or what?
Well, it's not this bandage here on my leg. It's my knee. I kind of twisted it a little bit, and it felt good tonight. And they're going to look at it now and see what's going on.
So. But you're confident after tonight that you can play some more college games, right?
I feel pretty good about it, for sure.
Everybody is really pleased, Ron, with you coming to Fresno State, and you certainly put on an outstanding performance in your first game.
It's great. I love it.
All right, Ron, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Dan will have some final statistics after we hear a few more words.
Good job,
Back here with Pat Ogle, courtside at Selland Arena. The Bulldogs playing the World Amateur Champions and having their difficulties in the early going of the ball game, making a few mistakes, that's going to be expected in the early going with so many new players. You're missing the leadership that they got from Rod Higgins and Donald Mason and Bobby Davis this past season. That's right.
4 years experience.
So a lot of new players and a lot of mistakes, a lot of new things transpiring on the floor, but you have to really be impressed with the fact that they fell behind by 12 points just 3 minutes into the ball game. And over the next 14 minutes, they chipped away, and when the going got real tough, they cut it to just a 3-point difference.
I think we can make 2 observations about that, Dan. First of all, this very likely could be the best team that Fresno State has played in, say, the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, you know, this team, let's say against Georgetown last year, I mean, that would be a good matchup. So you're taking the inexperienced Fresno State team against that veteran ball club. Now, the only problem with chipping back and getting within close to 3, as Coach Grant said, it was not the type of offensive show. It was pretty much run and gun, and the Soviets weren't playing a lot of defense. But what we did see, I think, in that spurt, we saw a lot of great passing, we saw a lot of great shooting, a lot of great body control, and those types of things. The athletic ability is going to pay off.
And, of course, you can't help but be very, very, very impressed with one Ron Anderson.
I think as we talked to Ron there, the impressive thing about Ron, he's 24 years old, as you mentioned, didn't play high school basketball. He is a real gentleman, and he really loves the younger players, and they are younger in some cases. I mean, you're talking about six years difference in that case, and he is really looking after them. And Ron Anderson, hopefully his knee problem is no problem, because he is really going to be an outstanding person to be in the Fresno State program. I think the Bernard Thompson tonight might have been one of the players that Coach Grant was talking about as far as, yes, offensively he did very well, but maybe defensively, looking to the veterans, didn't do the job that they hoped he'd do. And as you know, Coach Grant, he told them at practice today, all I care about is your intensity on defense. And if they don't do that, they're not going to be in the ball game.
But we'll be back with a few more final observations after this word from Coors. Most of the night, still fatigued. He had that hernia operation about a month ago and still not at 100%. Ronnie Anderson, 23 points. Bernard Thompson, 21 points. Tyrone Bradley, 7 points. Cleve Lewis did not score tonight. Mario Ellis did not score. Most of the freshmen not seeing action. Mitch Arnold with 4, Dave Mosbar 4, Mark Gustin scoreless, O'Mel Nieves fouling out without managing a single point. For the Soviets, Jalachka, 8 points. Deryugin, 2 points. The big guy, Belostany, with 19 points. The other 7-footer, the 18-year-old Arvydas Sabonis, with 14 points in the night. Their backcourt, Valdis Valters, the guy coming in, they said didn't look to shoot, but he scored 14 points for them. Komikis with 6, and Victor Berezhnoy with 8 points for the Soviets.
Well, looking ahead now for the Fresno State basketball team, they have about 3 more weeks of practice before they get into their regular season. This game not counting in the standings, and that'll be in the Sun Met Classic, which will be back on KC right after Thanksgiving, Friday and Saturday following Thanksgiving. And I think, you know, the coaching staff saying that, boy, they would have liked to have 1 more week before having to play this team because they feel in their preparation that they just really couldn't prepare for Fresno State. They had to prepare for the rest of the season. All in all, I think Boyd Grant and the rest of the staff, after they look at the films and so on, they'll probably say 50-50, that they might have been satisfied.
Coming up sports-wise here on KC, in just a couple of weeks, we're going to be back on the air from Las Vegas, Nevada. Bulldogs wrapping up their football season against the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And the week after that, more basketball, the Sun Met Classic on Friday night, the 26th. Fresno State taking on Hardin-Simmons, and the championship game the following night at 9 o'clock. Here on KSEE. So that'll wrap it up from Selland Arena. Our final score, the Soviet Union winning here in the season opener. International Shootout 2 by a score of 79-72 over Fresno State. Good night.
The only hotel in Lake Tahoe where every room